So Sophie Cunningham is one of the biggest names in the WNBA. And as well as that, she's also one of the best glue guys, role players in the entire league. Say we want about Sophie Cunningham, she shot 63% true shooting percentage while being a well above average defender. I'm not going to say a great defender, but like well above average defender. She's one of the better defenders on the Fever, and she's somebody that originally usurped DeWanna Bonner as a starter. And then obviously,
if you are a Caitlin Clark fan, if you're an Indiana Fever fan, this is something you already know. However, for the haters out there, the old WNBA fandom, many of you call them the slows. For those fans, they're in complete denial. We've tried to tell people Caitlin Clark moves the needle.
It does sound like the Fever are not going to keep her. From her podcast, a lot of the time she'd been mentioning the Fever, and in the most recent podcast, she did not mention the Fever, and she said this.
And I think the next team I play for, I want a bigger contract, so then I can buy a house and be homey and cozy.
We've tried to tell people Caitlin Clark moves the needle unlike anybody else in this league or everybody else in this league. It just sort of is what it is. Fans are coming to see one particular player, and along with that, carries over the support to the entire team. Well, Forbes has released a rather very interesting insight report that tells you exactly how much the Indiana Fever's social media engagements are actually monetarily worth. That tells you exactly how much the Indiana Fever's social media engagements are actually monetarily worth. Either on X or YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, whatever. I mean, all these posts have a monetary value to them based on engagement. Boy, their posts are worth a lot of money. They are worth a lot of money, and I can tell you right now, that's a little over 5 times higher than the next.
Don't want to keep. Like, this is the dumbest thing I think I've seen a team do. Like, genuinely. They traded 4 years of Sinai Rivers, and by the way, the Fever wouldn't have drafted Sinai Rivers. The Fever would not have drafted Sinai Rivers. The Fever are dumbasses. They would have drafted somebody else. But losing Sophie Cunningham for money reasons is not a smart thing to do. Like,
they are worth a lot of money, and I can tell you right now, that's a little over 5 times higher than the next WNBA team. 5 times higher. Let's go down here. Just scroll down. The Indiana Fever's staggering $55 million social media evaluation speaks volumes. Now, before we get into this, let me just come over here and let me read this to you so you know exactly what we're looking at. After noticing
an unpopular opinion, Sophie's better than Lexi. But it's close enough to fair enough Lexi's younger. But I'm like, Lexi's not worth a max either. Like, if you're stuck in a situation where you've got 2 wings that are not max contract players looking for max contracts, you have to pick one or the other, you're kind of screwed. Especially because you could have had a cost-controlled Sinai Rivers for 4 years. At the same time, what are the odds that Steph White would have not developed Sinai Rivers whatsoever and gave her bench splinters for the
STN Digital? The valuations of these franchises are increasing dramatically. The ratings on television are better than ever, and I think there's no better time to look at what's happening on social media. Using a model called, quote, social value metric, the study calculated the estimated pay media equivalent value created by organic posts, factoring in impressions, video views, engagements to benchmark what the same exposure would cost through advertising. So in other words, if you paid out,
she's not like KK Timpson. I've watched her the entire year, and you could say, oh, you know, KK could have been like, she should have been progressing much better if Steph White had played her more. I'm watching her over in Europe. She's not getting better. She's not getting better. Like, she's cooking the bad teams and then looks lost against the good teams. She's not really improving, and that is concerning. That is concerning. And now you're at a stage where, like, you have to realistically keep, like, if you don't keep Sophie,
the Indiana Fever led the league with an estimated 55.04 million in social value, 38.73 million engagements, 1.17 billion impressions during the 2025 season. The top 5 teams by social value were the Indiana Fever, Dallas Wings at 8.61 million. That was second, folks. You went from 55 million down to 8.61 million.
That will help, and I don't give a damn about this enforcer type shit. But what I do give a damn about is the fact that she shoots 43% from 3. She shoots 43% from 3. And shoots it at a high volume, is tough. Plays within a role, plays within a system, and is a winner. Like, is a winner and has near, like, I'm not gonna say zero ego because
they increased engagements by 505%, impressions by 251%, and a social value by 344%. So good God, I don't know where they ranked prior, but they had that much growth and was still, I mean, basically $37 million behind the Indiana Fever in second place. Wow. And I wonder where that would be. Look, the Indiana
DeWanna Bonner, and they want to free up salary for DeWanna Bonner. But this is concerning because are they going to keep Natasha Howard? Are they going to get rid of Sophie Cunningham to keep a max contract for Natasha? The offense stops here, Howard. Like, for me, that's just really, really concerning. And I'm worried. I'm really, really worried. Like, because by the sounds of things, this does absolutely sound like a take from a person who has been either knows or has been told they're gone.
It was surprising. I have to admit, I thought the Chicago Sky would be second because of Angel. I did. And she was fifth. That's interesting. So Caitlin, Paige Beckers, Asia, but we're talking they're way behind. Way behind in monetary value. God, the Chicago Sky was, Jesus, but I mean, way back there.
One quiet comment might break the Fever. A key starter hinted she wants a bigger deal and maybe a new team. If she leaves, Caitlin Clark's path to a title could shift overnight. Here is what was said, why it matters, and how this could explode this summer. Sophie is more than a name on the roster. She spaces the floor so Caitlin has room to breathe. When the defense loads up on Caitlin, Sophie drifts to the corner or lifts to the wing and punishes late closeouts. Her shot is quick, her decisions are clean, and she does not need the ball to help the offense flow. That kind of low-touch, high-impact player is rare. She also handles the gritty parts of the game. She fights over screens, talks on defense, and slides into the right help spots. She boxes out and turns long rebounds into early offense. None of this shows up as a headline, but it holds the lineup together. Think of her as the connector who lets Caitlin run the show without forcing it. The result is balance. Caitlin's gravity pulls defenders in. Sophie's shooting and timing push them out. That push and pull creates open lanes, simple reads, and a steady rhythm the Fever can trust. Losing that rhythm is not easy to fix with a random signing, but this is only the start. If she walks, the gaps are bigger than most people think, and they show up fast. The first crack shows up in spacing. Without Sophie in the corner, help defenders take 2 steps toward Caitlin and never pay for it. Passing lanes close. Drives turn into crowds. Shots come a beat late. The whole offense feels heavy. The second crack is 3-point volume. Teams are not scared of one hot night. They are scared of steady, honest shooting that stretches every possession. Sophie gives you that. Lose it, and the Fever trade clean catch and shoot looks for tougher pull-ups and floaters. That hurts the scoreboard. Defense slips too. She talks, tags, and rotates on time. She guards a spot, not just a person, and that keeps the shell strong. Take her out and you ask a new wing to learn calls, angles, and matchups on the fly. 1 slow step becomes a foul. 2 slow steps become a run for the other side. Chemistry takes a hit. Caitlin trusts where Sophie will be and when she will shoot. That trust is a shortcut that saves seconds. New partners need reps to learn those cues. Until then, turnovers climb and good shots arrive late in the clock. Rotations get messy. The staff either goes small and gives up boards or goes big and loses speed. Bench players get pushed up a seat, and now second units lose their anchor. You feel the loss in both lineups at once. Replacement talk sounds easy. In real life, it is hard. A shooter who defends, moves, and stays low ego costs real money or real picks. Sign a pure scorer and you lose the glue. Sign a pure stopper and teams will ignore her at the arc. Fit matters. This is why the risk is bigger than one name. It is the ripple. Take out the connector and the chain shakes. Which leads to a deeper question. Why did she hint at leaving in the first place? Her words did not sound random. They sounded practiced. When a player hints at wanting more money or a fresh start, it usually means talks already happened and stalled. That is not a heat of the moment line. That is a message. Notice the timing. She spoke right as the market started buzzing. That is how you push a front office. You create pressure in public when private meetings go nowhere. If the team was close to a deal, there would be calm. Instead, there is smoke. Listen to the tone. She praised the city and the fans, but left the door open. Players do that when they are ready to move, if the numbers or the role do not change. It is polite, but it is still a warning. Look at the fit issues that lingered. Minutes moved around. Touches shifted. Some nights her job looked clear. Other nights it did not. When roles yo-yo, trust wears thin. Veterans do not like guessing games. This also points at the front office. If they love her in the starting 5, they lock her up early. If they are unsure, they drag it out and hope the price drops. But waiting risks losing her for nothing. Add it up and you get the same picture. Talks hit a wall. The message went public. The clock is now loud. And that leads to the next problem. If she walks, the Fever are not just losing a starter. They might be throwing away real assets. There is a cost to getting a good starter. It shows up as picks, swaps, or a player you sent out to make room. When you trade value to bring someone in, you are not just paying for one season, you are buying years of fit. Letting that walk for nothing is how teams shrink their window. Think of it like this. Every draft chip has 2 jobs. You can spend it to add talent, or you can save it to find the next piece. The Fever already spent some of that capital to land a wing who fits next to Caitlin. If she leaves for 0 return, the bill remains, but the player is gone. That is a double hit. You can try to patch it with a mid-level signing, but the market rarely gifts you a clean replacement on the same money. You can chase a trade, but now you are paying twice. First for the new player, then for the lost leverage everyone can see. Smart teams manage a board like a budget. If a starter hints at leaving, you move fast. You extend early. You work a sign and trade. You protect the outflow. Even a protected pick or a prospect with upside is better than a goodbye and a thank you post. This is not about panic. It is about math. Windows are short. Clark's prime years will move fast. You cannot afford to burn assets for empty space. Which brings us to the next fork. Do you build around modern spacing or gamble on a heavier fit that slows the whole machine? Modern basketball around Caitlin starts with space. Give her lanes and clean corners and the whole floor opens. A quick shooter who moves without the ball keeps two defenders busy. That is the kind of partner who makes her reads easy and her passes sharp. A heavier fit changes the math. A non-shooter in the dunker spot drags a helper into the paint. Post touches slow the pace. Extra bodies around the rim turn drives into traffic. Caitlin can still create, but every pass has to thread a needle. The scoreboard feels it. Think about late-game sets. When the clock is low, you need clear rules. 2 at the ball means the skip pass is wide open. Switch means slip to the rim. None of that works if the weak side defender is standing on a non-shooter who will not fire. The defense shrinks. The shot gets worse. Defense matters too. A bigger lineup can help on the glass and at the rim, but you pay for it if those players cannot guard space on the other end. If they cannot chase shooters, you trade one problem for another. The best builds balance both. You want a wing who can switch, hit catch and shoot threes, and make quick reads. That is how you keep the pace and keep the stops. The front office has to choose a path. Stack the floor with players who can shoot and move, or double down on size and hope talent wins the squeeze. Around Caitlin, the first path makes the most sense. It fits how she wins. It keeps the ball flying. It turns good nights into great runs. Choose wrong and you pay twice. The offense slows and the roster gets harder to fix. Choose right and every metric gets a bump. Possessions are cleaner. Turnovers drop. Stars look like stars. That choice connects to something bigger than basketball. The next part is about money, reach, and why small moves around Caitlin can shake the whole league. Caitlin pulls more than defenders. She pulls cameras, clicks, and crowds. When she plays, seats fill, streams spike, and the feed lights up. That attention is not a bonus. It is a business engine. Tickets move faster. Merch runs hotter. Local partners call more often. National brands take a second look. The front office can feel it in every sales report. That is why the right roster choices pay twice. Put shooters and smart wings around her and the highlight count jumps. Big passes find open corners. Quick cuts turn into easy layups. The clips are clean and shareable. Each one is a free ad for the team. That loop raises the team's value and keeps the buzz alive through the week. It also changes leverage. Players who fit beside Caitlin become premium pieces in this market. They boost wins and views at the same time. That makes their contracts look cheap even when the number feels high. Lose them and the team pays in 2 ways. The offense drops and the energy drops. Fewer wins and fewer viral moments cut into real money. This is why timing matters. You cannot wait for the perfect price when the window is hot right now. Secure the pieces that make Caitlin shine and the rest follows. More wins mean better playoff gates. Better gates mean stronger season ticket renewals. Strong renewals keep the budget healthy for the next move. There is a cultural side too. Young fans follow stars and then adopt the team. If the product is fun and fast, those fans stay. If it turns slow and clunky, they drift. Keep the style that matches Caitlin's gifts, and you keep the next generation coming back. When a single player lifts the sport, small choices carry big ripples. A clean fit can add value across basketball and business. A sloppy fit can drain both, which raises a hard question. Are the Fever making sharp choices by design, or have they just been riding a lucky wave? The last year looked like a dream. A superstar landed in your lap. A rising big was already in place. A scorer found another gear at the right time. Some of that is skill. Some of that is timing. When wins arrive that fast, it is easy to believe every move was part of a master plan. But luck can hide weak spots. A friendly schedule can make a shaky rotation look fine. Hot shooting can cover for poor spacing rules. A healthy run can mask the lack of depth behind a key starter. If the front office starts to trust the results more than the process, cracks grow in silence. A real plan shows up in the details. Cap space is mapped 2 summers ahead. Roles are defined before camp. Trades target skill sets, not names. The draft board is built around fit next to the star, not the loudest hype. Player development has clear goals for every bench piece. When an injury hits, the team still knows how to play. Ask the hard questions. Could this roster survive a shooting slump from 2 starters at once? Do the lineups keep their shape when a floor spacer sits? Is there a sign and trade path ready if a starter wants out? Are there minimum deals lined up with players who cut, defend, and shoot on the move? If those answers are fuzzy, the wins might be borrowing from luck. Smart teams bank certainty. They lock in the connectors who make the star shine. They stock the bench with wings who move and fire without thinking. They keep a small trade ready for a mid-season jolt. They protect picks so they can fix mistakes later. That is how you turn a hot streak into a steady rise. If this run was driven mostly by fortune, the bill will come due. Shots cool, legs tire, opponents adjust. Without a plan, the fall is fast. With a plan, the bumps are small and the climb continues. Which brings us to the edge of summer. The clock is ticking, and the next choices will tell us everything. This summer will test everything. If talks stay stuck, the Fever could lose a starter for nothing and scramble to fill a hole that drags both the offense and the brand. If they move early, they can steady the roster, protect their assets, and keep the floor shaped for Caitlyn's game. The difference is not subtle, it is the line between growth and stall. The first move is clarity. Decide who fits next to Caitlyn and pay them before the market twists the price. If a split is coming, line up a sign and trade so value does not vanish. Set clean roles before camp. Shooters know their corners. Cutters know their lanes. Bigs know when to screen and when to slip. Simple rules win fast. The second move is depth. Add one more wing who defends and fires on the catch. Add a guard who can handle a trap without panic. Add a big who can run and finish without clogging the paint. These are small pieces that keep the machine moving when a starter sits or a shot goes cold. Communication matters. Be straight with the locker room. Stars need to hear the plan. Veterans need to see the path. Young players need to know what earns minutes. When everyone understands the map, tension drops and effort rises. If the front office hesitates, the league will not. Rivals will chase your shooters. They will crowd Caitlyn and dare others to hit. They will test your spacing and your patience. The window is open, but it will not stay that way forever. Here's the bottom line. Act with purpose, and you build a team that runs on pace, space, and trust. Wait for luck and you watch momentum leak out one possession at a time. The next choices decide which story the Fever tell in the fall.